Hello, this is the Haunted Informer, and today I'm talking about the state of Haunted Hayrides. Haunted Hayrides are going to be different for this 2020 haunt season, and there are multiple ideas being spread around, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them. One idea is changing the Haunted Hayride into a haunted trail, so you keep all the existing sets and all those awesome effects and fire effects and effects of animatronics dropping onto the wagon. So that would still be scary if you were walking through it as a trail, because then that prop could still land right above you and scare you. You could still have all those really good effects. You can still have actors at the sets because you can have them up on platforms and they can yell down at you and get you scared from that by being intimidating. And that could actually set you up for a startle scare from another actor being physically distant from you, banging on a barrel or yelling at you from the other side. So that could be a distraction scare, or you could have startle scares where you walk past certain doors or windows and then an actor bangs on it or opens it really quick, but they're still 6 feet away from you. If your scene on your haunted hayride already has actor-matronics from Gore Galore, you can have actors use that, and that can be a physically distant scare. You can have actors set off fire effects or set off a Tesla coil, which is really cool, and that would be startling if you're just walking past and don't expect it, and then all of a sudden that turns on, and you can have all kinds of good effects like that. And you can still walk on step pads and set off animatronics, and you can switch around the set a little bit and move a couple of the animatronics, the smaller ones, to make it so you can walk on a step pad, and then that will trigger it. So there's lots of things they can do. You can keep the tension between each scene by adding extra effects between each scene, so you can add more video effects and have some screens and project some things on there, have some added kills that would actually lead to the next scene, or you could have effects of like bugs crawling on a wall or decaying corpses. You could have all kinds of really good effects. Projections and haunted attractions have gotten a lot better now, and they are very interactive, and that could also be a distraction for an upcoming scare. So then you could have that video effect on the side, you're looking at that, and then you're walking up into the hayride scene, which would have been originally the hayride scene, and then a scare actor could get you from there, physically distant, of course, and scare you. So that could work, and they could also have really good creepy music and sound effects of like creatures walking, and you can hear footsteps or growls and snarls. So you can still keep up that tension and still keep it scary. So I still think it could work. So that's one way a haunted hayride could work this year in the haunt season for 2020. You could change it into a haunted trail. Another way haunted hayrides could work for haunt season 2020 is by having way less people on the wagon and socially distancing them. So you could have a quarter capacity of the wagon on there and spread them out in their groups and make sure they're 6 feet away from each other. So you could do that. So that is plausible, and you still get that hayride feel of sitting on the hay and looking at all the sets. Fan favorite in all haunted attractions is the chainsaw scare, and you could easily do that on a haunted hayride, even with social distancing, because people are really just scared of the sound, so they could see the actor from far away and hear it revving, and then the actor could actually come up to the wagon and he could put it on the back of the wagon far away from other people, but you'd still feel the vibration of it and still get freaked out by it and be like, oh my gosh, there's a chainsaw guy right there. So you still could do that effect where actors could do physically distant scares and get near the wagon but not too close, and that could totally work. Haunted Hayrides this year can still use their giant animatronic effects, like the giant monsters you'll see that are talking to you and growling at you and telling you about the backstory of the haunt. So they can still have all those effects, and they can use them on either side, and you still can achieve scares with that, and you also could have an effect that's made just for haunted hayrides, like a giant train that comes towards the wagon that has a really loud horn. So you can still do all those scares. All those effects would still be effective, even with physical distancing. I personally think that haunts still have a lot to offer this year. There's going to be a lot of really cool animatronic effects, lots of good startle scares, and there still can be startling effects with physically distant scares, because you still could do plexiglass scares where actor bangs on plexiglass or opens a door and yells at you. You could do all kinds of really awesome effects still, lots of really good scares, and actors could actually be hidden behind cages and do sparking effects where they have a spark wand, they hit it on the cage, and spark effects go off. you could still do all those awesome effects, and you could do that from a physically distant space. So I still think haunted attractions have a lot to offer this year in 2020, and I'm definitely going to go visit haunted attractions this year, tell you all about it on my channel. That was the Haunted Informer. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notification every single time I put up a new video. And I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find all those links in the description below. Which option would you prefer? Having a haunted hayride turned into a haunted trail this year, or having a haunted hayride stay as the way it was in the past, just have some physical distancing between groups? And as always, happy hauntings.